Hello.
Welcome back to the Bible Study Girl podcast. This is Sarita. You probably know me as Bible Study Girl. And the first hello you received was from none other than the executive producer of this podcast, Bible Study Brother.
Yo, it is I, Bible Study Brother, also known as Icarus Gray over at Gray Area Anime. This is the most wonderful podcast of your day. It's getting cold outside, so go get warm by listening to the new single by Icarus Gray, Honeysuckle Summer, on all streaming platforms.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys can catch that on all streaming platforms. I had your back. If you dropped it, I was gonna pick it up.
I'm getting better.
Because the people need to know where to get it. Okay, guys. So we are still doing our blog recap series. And it's really fun because we get to go back in time and go back over some of the previous blogs that I wrote over on BibleStudyGirl.com. Today's blog is titled Best Foot Forward. If you have not had the opportunity to read it, you can pause this right now, head over to BibleStudyGirl.com. You can type on the magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner and type in the words Best Foot Forward. It'll pull that blog right on up. That's actually what I did today before we started recording. And that is also when I realized I really don't want to talk about today's blog when I read it. But here we are doing the work. Doing the assignment. And I'm very interested to hear Bible Study Brother's take on this. So the way our blog recap works is that Bible Study Brother lets me know what he thought when he read the blog, what kind of feelings it evoked, any funny things it brought to mind or serious or whatever. He just gives me a breakdown of his impressions of the blog when he read it. Then I go back in time and I tell you guys how I felt when I first published the blog and if my feelings have changed since then. Sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's different. But I will say one thing I have been getting from these blog recap series is revelation, refinement, things that God wants me to continue to work on. And so even though I don't want to talk about today's blog, we're going to talk about it. Take it away, brother.
So this episode was about Bible Study Girl's journey with online dating and just the thought of like how to actually engage, because she's a Christian girl by all standards. And she's a loyal person. She's not I just want something because I want it. She's authentic, and she is also truthful. And what I mean by that is she's herself, and makeup is an accessory. It's not a requirement. So for some of you, that may be the case, and that's fine. That's your testimony, trial, whatever. But she believes in being her earnest self, because 98, as she said in the blog, 98% of the time, this is the me you're going to get. You're going to get me, real, raw, authentic, real rap. God and food is going to be my sister. And what I immediately thought was, yeah, the online dating game is just trash for me. Because I went through it too before you did. Like, I went through apps on my original iPhone, and like I've had dates, I've met people, and it's always.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
I know this is your time to shine, but you did online dating before they had apps, and I was like, "This boy is gonna get us murdered."
Oh no. You're talking a whole. Because see that's another thing. Like I don't want to toot my own horn because it was dangerous. But
it was super dangerous.
But check this out. Hold on. Let me
go ahead.
Hey, let me get my horn out here first. The horn tooting is this. So in an age of like what could have been catfish, I ain't never been catfished.
No, you haven't been catfished. Thank God.
Like I'm the look, bro. The and what she's alluding to is when I was younger. I grew up in the ASL days. If you know what that means, it's not American Sign
American
Language.
Sign Language, yeah.
It's not American Sign Language. If you it is age, sex, and location is what you used to put into the chat rooms. That's the era I grew up in. And what happened is I was talking to somebody that I like met, and we were having a long conversation, intense conversations. I was not always saved, but when I was saved, I did not always act as. Sometimes we out here, bro. Like sometimes my testosterone won. I don't know how to. I'm trying to put this in a
But
good way.
we all
And
know
so
because
what she's alluding to is like, so me and this person were talking or whatever, and long story less long, uh, addresses were exchanged, and I got letters sent to the house because this person wrote me a letter and put like pictures of her and not crazy pictures, just natural,
not
regular
pornographic,
pictures,
just
but
this is who I
just this is who
am.
I am. And Ray wrote me a letter.
And your
And
mom and your daddy fed into your foolishness.
oh no. That was that was almost high school. That's like ninth grade.
Again, still,
So
your mom and your
anyway,
daddy
so when
fed.
I dated, and it's, like I said, my shot record is I do not miss. So they allowed for somebody to come down from a certain city in Arkansas. I'm not gonna say no names because it's very easy to tell.
It
Like, because
is.
I
But I'm
ain't.
just, well, I
Yeah.
was against all of this because I was like, and now I'm finna be murdered and on the dateline because y'all is falling into this. And here I go
uh,
years later, like online dating, huh?
but that technically was not online dating. That was way more dangerous. I've actually done, even though you wanted to bring that up, that I get it. I've had a life. I've lived a life. My
Yeah, you
um and maybe I'll
have.
get into all those stories one day. Like
Write a blog about it. I would
uh,
love it.
oh God,
And so would
no.
every listener.
I don't know.
Yes,
Like I don't know how I would like condense it, because really it's just, are the PK stories true?
they
And
are.
for me, yes.
Yes, they
I
are. Go
was
ahead.
everything that you could like call a PK. Like I was that. It's just,
Okay.
I was out here. I was in these streets. Uh, like I wasn't no thug or nothing like that, but I was in these streets, or as much as I could possibly try to be everywhere else. Um.
Okay, I just had to interrupt
Anyway,
your train of thought because
so
it
you
just came
did,
to
because
my
I sure
mind
forget.
like,
Oh, so online dating. So I've gone through the online dating stuff, and it's just weird. So like even in the interactions, I never got like an authenticity, at least not with the online dating that we're discussing, because
yes, the current
like
online date.
chat room stuff is different, because we would have a long conversation. We talk for a very,
That is
very, very
true.
long time. Online dating, however, which expresses an intent versus, okay, we're talking and we're living in this like fantasy world or something, and then like things become real because we're talking to each other every day. Online dating is like, there's no other reason that I'm here other than to date you, talk to you, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And I've always had confidence issues, just in a sense of like, I don't do well with rejection, which I'm glad in the next post that you guys listen to, you'll get us. I got some thoughts on that too. And sorry for being tangential. I'll be way more succinct. I realize there's no point in talking about the next episode. Just listen to it. Anyway,
Right.
um, but it's so strange for somebody who wants substance, because so many people go into dating websites looking for hookups, and since its inception, regardless of, I think when eHarmony or whatever used to play, this number of people are getting married, and it's like, okay, but can you tell us how many more people are just on here for not that? Or they
Right.
looked, or they stumbled. And I think it's really hard for, like, my sister and I were, okay, how can I say this? True love does wait.
But I didn't.
I,
Is
well,
that what you?
I was gonna get there, but I did not.
Oh, I didn't either,
And there,
and haven't.
and
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 go
and
ahead.
and so here's the caveat for me and my sister, and it's not a like, this is just pure honesty. My caveat to God was always, but I'm loyal. please let this loyalty to this one person be enough. Like
Right.
we'll fix it on the back end. I got you on the back end, bro. Just like loyal. Like even if this person is the person that I'm with for the rest of my life, dog. Like forgive me for my transgressions. I was loyal though. I wasn't sawing nothing. Like I was loyal. So that's a similarity. I don't know what that is. You know what? We'll talk about that off air. I'm not gonna say it,
Yeah, we could do
um,
that off air,
but just
brother.
listen to just check daddy issues out for some trails, um, for some seeds planted. Part one and part two, and you'll kind of get it. But like it's such a weird landscape when you're trying to find solid people, loyal people, because like we know ourselves. We are very aware of who we are and how we are. And
Mhm.
dating in our Christian world was just it was always difficult for us because like for as in the streets as we are or were or have been, it's literally us like dipping our toe in the water. Now, some people might consider whatever I dip and toe in the water like a full dive, jump off the boat. I know my sister would consider my lifestyle in terms of how I lived very much so just jumping in the water comparatively to her, and it was, but
Mhm.
it's it's um it's a trapeze act of like I just want a good person. I do want a person. Like my sister does want a thug that knows Jesus. But and works like and just has put everything down but kept the same kind of hustle. It's a weird thing. And what I wanted at the time was well no, I think I've always wanted somebody that was like good and like we for each other. That's something that I've always wanted. Is me, you. Since I was in elementary school, the dreams in my life was to always grow up with somebody. I wanted to grow up with somebody. Like I wanted to date you now, and we just be dating until we gone on into glory, and we just old and like we go through all of those things you see on TV together. Oh, I got my car. Now I may become see you. And like, I proposed to you the first time. We have our separation. That's not really a separation because we just, had a kid argument or whatever. And all of that is so scarce in the online community is the whole point of what I got from this. It's just like who wants the authentic person where you're trying to present yourself? And in
Right.
dating, how do you present yourself? We're often trained in society to present the best version of ourselves and then allow you to see the worst parts.
Right.
And then it's like, we're trained in conversations to not be authentic and talk about what our actual thoughts are until it's too late. Like it's so many people in these situations, you like get married and then you find somebody doesn't want kids and you wanted kids, but y'all could have had this conversation way before. You just thought that they were gonna change. And clearly, if you talk to them, you would see that there's traumas associated with that. So there's things that they need to work through or whatever the case may be. And for us, like I also don't have a high tolerance for the BS, for any sort of
Yes.
just like I have friends and partners that have gone through so much stuff. I don't have patience. Like I got patience to support my brothers when things would happen with them, but then that same patience ain't coming back around in my relationships because I'm just like I don't ever want to be in a situation where somebody thinks it's okay to keep my car or like we feel like we about to like cut each other, all this other stuff that kind of like goes on in these spaces where you are um exchanging souls with people, giving people a part of yourself and all of these things. I was like, bro, look, God, that was the other thing. I'm like, look, bro, God, I ain't doing that. Like I know, but I ain't doing that. Like and the way we do where we try to like make our sinning way less sinful than what somebody
Right.
else is doing.
We do comparisons. We do
Um,
comparisons.
but yeah, so long story less long. I think
That's your second time saying this.
I
So what
did
that mean?
it's long as hell. Excuse me. Sorry. Sometimes it happens. Look, trust me, this is the most PC version of y'all gonna get.
Ever in life.
Because, ooh, man, I do it for the Lord. But what I
He
realized
forgot. He forgot we was recording and
for
we
3
wasn't just.
seconds, for 3 seconds,
Again, I think it's fitting with this topic about putting your best foot forward. Like you
yes,
show people.
yeah. But what I was gonna say spiritually, what I got from this, outside of like all the struggles that comes with this, is we're not a people who I ain't trying to put forth nobody that ain't me.
Correct.
I just can't. I can't fake the funk. Like I used to hate in relationships, uh, the fact that the girls that would talk to me, that we would start talking, right? My mama ain't taught me nothing if she ain't taught me how to talk to him and how you supposed to do, be nice, open doors, all this other stuff. Um, but my entry point to a lot of people would be the fact that I'm quote unquote nice and I compliment folks. And I would always be upset because I would hear this phrase, and it's something that I call my brothers about a lot. And the phrase is, and if you said this to somebody, you may need to check what you got going on in terms of the interactions and relationship. And the phrase is, you're different from the other guys. And I would always sit there and be like, if complimenting you makes me different from other guys, sis, you need to reevaluate what's going on in your life. Because at this point, you kind of need to engage me to learn who I am. Because a
Right.
compliment is surface, it's external, and it can be to your character and things of that nature. But if you're not in a partnership or relationship to kind of learn about the other person, that would also kind of be lacking. So God just wants us to be ourselves, because at the end of the day, spiritually or whatever, as we walk this walk, which is why I'm very honest about the fact that like I know what loyalties and things that I was talking to God about, because that's the walk. That's what a lot of us deal with. That's what a lot of us don't talk about. And then when these pastors and deacons and everybody else get caught fornicating in the church, now you ain't gonna never catch me acting like I've never sinned in my life. Like I
Right.
ain't been mad or been out here or not misconstrued, because that's not a word, but like
Misconstrued is a word,
um
but that's not the word you were trying
yeah,
to.
or
Okay.
I haven't morphed something, or like I've done things under my own convenience. Like I know, and this is the last thing I'll say, because I think we at
Long story, less
Lord,
long.
yes, we passed that. We're at long story more long. Um,
For the third
for
time.
the
I keep
third
waiting.
time.
I'm being patient. I'm being a good partner,
You
communicator,
are, you
and letting
are.
you
I'm
get
over here
your
acting like
thoughts
this
out.
ain't even my episode, bro. I'm tripping.
This
Um,
is your episode. We're learning your dating history. You know what?
uh,
Ish. But I'm
I
not
ain't want to talk
complaining
about that
because
one
I
too.
didn't even want to talk about this
I know
period.
you
That's
didn't.
why I'm sitting here like,
Oh no,
okay.
I'm getting to you, but I was gonna wait until you started responding, because then we were gonna get into you. Uh, because we've had conversations about your dating profiles, and I be telling you immediately about folks, and you be like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay. But anyway, I just learned, put your best foot forward. It's hard a lot of times, and we find our ways to be comfortable in our sin, or comfortable in our impatience. Uh, and we put ourselves in positions that we don't have to be in. Every relationship is going to be work. Every marriage is going to be work. It doesn't, I mean, friendships, it doesn't matter what relationship, all things are going to be some form of work.
Right.
Um, and I think what I got most from this is to just keep going. If there's any encouragements that I can give to you, I know he got somebody for you. And I know we'll just know. It's just we're those type of people.
You said we'll just know.
We
It has to
will.
be a community.
Oh, it
It definitely does.
definitely. Whoo, woo, woo. Definitely. That's not the D word I almost used, but I'm glad the Lord knew. God did how to correct me. I ain't got to clear that off of this podcast. Um, but yeah, I think it is definitely a communal thing with you. But overall, yeah, y'all, my bad. I apologize. Go.
Yeah,
What was your thoughts today?
my thought when I published this blog was that I wanted to be transparent about my journey as a Christian woman, as transparent as I could and as transparent as I felt comfortable. Um, because a lot of times people try to act like Christian women shouldn't date. You and just Christians in general, they try to put us in a box and make us be these group us all together. And so
Mm-hmm.
that is why I initially wrote the blog. The way I feel about it today is I hate that I ever wrote it.
Oh.
You said several times throughout the course of this podcast, you talked to me about, you know, you know, they're gonna be in your inbox and you need to blah blah blah. And that has come to true several times. Okay. So my intent in writing the blog is because let me go back to when I published it, because at that point in time, I was on a lot of dating apps and like my coworker at work was looking at my profile and she was like, "Oh, you got this as your picture? You should use this as your picture." And it was like a picture of me, like really made up. One thing I know to be true of myself is I know how to beat my face and make myself look amazing. I do have that ability. I'm going to pat myself on the back and say, yes, I can do that. However, that would be enough to hook somebody in. But then when you show up at the date, I can beat my face and make myself look amazing, but I don't think I look bad without makeup. Like when I go on a first date with somebody, I'm not going to have foundation on. I will be cleaned. My face will be, well moisturized. I'll have on some popping lip gloss, but I want you to see me as I am because that's the way I look 98% of the time. The last man I dated, he didn't see me fully makeuped out until we had been together for almost a year. Almost a year.
Whew,
Um, the first time
well,
he the first time he ever saw me with makeup on is when we went out to eat. It was me, you, mama, his brother, and Kane. When we went out to eat, that was his first time ever seeing me fully made up, like with lashes and all of that. And he was like, okay, then.
but I was gonna say the caveat of that is it was also during a time to where you were not thinking. It was during the pandemic and also during times where you were not given a crap about
And
putting
that is why
anything
it took
together.
so long for him to see me with makeup because I was grieving. He definitely would have seen me with makeup before then, but I was grieving. So all of those things play into that. But like the first date we ever had, he was very attracted to me with my natural face, with some popping lip gloss. Like you are doing it. Like you look good. And that's important to me because that's I need for you to be attracted to me, everyday me. Not I know how to dress myself up. I know how to make myself look good. Like Bible study brother, he gets mad when I put like certain
Oh,
outfits on.
getting mad, you say. I don't get mad. I get understanding of what's like, see, here no. We're not gonna do that. You just try to slip that on the air like, no.
You do, you be like, so you finna wear this while we out. You finna.
Because you okay for somebody who
I do know how to dress my body.
for an oblivious person, like this is the moments where you clearly turn into our mother, but you know what you doing.
I do know what I'm
Because I
doing.
be
I'm not
like,
saying
when
I'm
you do it,
oblivious.
no, here's I be like, bro, but you know who, like, who, what, when, where, why you finna catch with this line you done threw out here. Like, cause
But can I say that my outfits are not inappropriate?
no, they're never inappropriate. It ain't.
They're not inappropriate, but I
They're
know
not
how
see through.
they're not see through. Baby, that's a callback to a family conversation we had the other day. It was hilarious. Anyway,
Shout out to my family. Yo.
that was a great family chat. My outfits are not see through, but I do know how to dress my body. Period. Like if I want you to look at me and see me, I know how to put it on, baby.
Yeah, legs and hips and
And
body.
body. Yeah, I know how to work. I know how to work all of that. I'm very well aware of it. But my intent when I meet somebody is I just want you to be attracted to me and to who I am. And I feel like that's not the norm. Of course, the pictures I put up are not like I don't look bad in the pictures. That's the thing. Like I'm just not fully dragged out. They're pretty pictures and they're
Yeah.
me and they're who I am. And so that's where I was coming from when I originally wrote the blog. But like Bible Study Brother was saying, like to me, like, these men are going to be in your inbox. So I'm going to share a story. There was a man that we met on a dating app and we were having normal conversation, y'all. Regular. There was nothing creepy about it. He was talking to me about the podcast and wanting to be on it. And I was like, that would be cool. Because I was like, I don't think we've had a male guest outside of my brother. So that would be cool. He's a minister.
Ah, okay.
And
There we go.
so
That gave me the
you're trying to
like. I no,
remember
I
what,
was there, and then I was like, "But is this?" And as soon as you said, I was like,
yeah.
there he is."
He was a minister. So we literally talked for like 3 weeks before, and we were finally made plans like to have a date. As we get closer to the date, he turns up the heat on me. He's more aggressive, like his tone, it turns more sexual. And we were supposed to go on a date on a Friday. And on the Wednesday, he sends me a message and he says to me, "Are you going to take care of me?" So I was instantly irritated because I'm like, what does that mean? Is he asking me if I'm going to take care of him sexually? Is he asking if I'm going to take care of him financially? Either way, it rubbed me all the way wrong. But I didn't go off on him. I just said, can you clarify what you meant by that statement? And he wanted to clarify that he wanted me to take care of him sexually. Now, I've known this man for 3 weeks. We've had great conversation. Like, he done told me, like, oh, you don't want to study the Bible with me because I study the Greek and the Hebrew. Man, I'm not scared of you. Like, like if that's what you want to do, we can do. I'm not intimidated by that. But when he told me he wanted me to take care of him sexually, I about blacked out. And
No, because that ain't all.
the story is not over.
Okay, go ahead.
The story is not over. I
Go
about
wild.
blacked out. I was so mad. And I was like, I don't even know you like that. Like, how dare you say something like that to me? And here's the thing, like Bible Study Brother said, I'm not a virgin. He's not either. But, bro, like, I don't know you. We're getting to know each other. And you got this firm stance in the ground. And I told him, That's it. That's all. There's nothing else for us to talk about. He got mad at me because I was not going to give him my body. This is a minister. I'm talking about somebody that I've seen on Facebook. You know, this was during the pandemic when we were doing churches and stuff were doing drive-bys. You out one of the main ones holding the sign like, we miss y'all, blah, blah, blah. Da, 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 da. No, sir. You don't, no, 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 no. And I had to tell him, I have agency over my body and you do not. I have the right to tell you no. You can't demand sex from me. For me, that was the end of the conversation. I think he felt like I was going to be like, oh, I don't want to let a good one get away. You know, he loves the Lord. He got a house. He got a, he make money. Sir, I don't care. You can stuff it. It's not ever done anything for me and it won't ever do anything for me. Move on. That was the end of the conversation for me. Do y'all want to know the next day he tried to talk to me regular, like nothing had happened?
Also, in those 3 weeks, not only did he try to plan just a regular date, you were also going to be his date, his Thanksgiving date, like the holiday date.
He was laying it
And
on
I said, because it
thick.
was funny, because at this point in time, this is all a part of Bible Study Brothers' journey to Tacoma and figuring out where I was going to live. I was in the middle of Savannah, Georgia at the time, because that was another place that God had told me at once that I could like live down there. But when we got down there, the spirit was not moving in that place. And so she calls and she's telling me kind of like about what's going on. And I'm just like, here we go. Why? Like, no, that's not safe. That's not like, and it's so funny as frightened of the things that she was for me in my youth. My sister just out here wilding. And I'm like, not wilding in her way. I say that because y'all got to understand, wilding for her is way different from like a hot girl summer. Wilding for my sister is,
Yes, I would like you to clarify because you're looking at my
yeah,
face and
my
I'm like,
bad.
what you mean I was out here
Wilding
wilding?
for my sister is normally I'm off my diet. I'm eating whatever I would like. I am talking to some new person. I'm giving them a chance, even though if I were to ask my brother, it's red flag alley. I'm just giving them a chance to see if they're gonna be respectful of who I am,
So
even
here's
though
so here's the thing. Thanksgiving was not close.
no,
So, and I think that's what was so alarming to you, the fact that Thanksgiving is not close and he's saying, I want you to come to Thanksgiving with me. Am I correct?
yeah, it was just
Okay.
like it's
It just
just
was weird to
weird.
you.
It's weird. Like I don't care how far away it is. It's weird because you're
Okay.
already trying. Like if it came around and it's like, hey, I know you probably got plans with your family on Thanksgiving. Would you like to come by on the week of or the week prior?
That would be less
That's
weird to you.
cool. But if you
Okay.
like, bruh, it was clearly it was so it would have been November, it would have been like October. October. Yeah, it was October, I think. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Yeah, the
It- it-
month doesn't matter, but my thing was I I'm saying all that to say that I'm not. Here's the truth of the matter. I don't know if God has a husband for me. I don't know that
oh, this is where you are now after the
this is where I
process.
am now. I don't know if God has a husband for me specifically. They tell you, if you have desires to want to be with somebody, then that's your signal that you shouldn't be single. And I have physically, yes, I do want to be with somebody. But marriage is work. Any relationship is work, but the work of marriage, I don't know if I'm particularly equipped for that. I have, because really with marriage, you have to be willing to die to yourself every day. Just how I have to be willing to die to Christ every day. And my relationship with Christ is definitely not where it needs to be. I need to be more willing to submit to him before I will ever be able to submit to a person, to a man. And so currently I'm single, and I will say that I'm satisfied with my singleness because God has so much work he needs to do in me. I don't really have time to try to juggle a relationship leading to marriage with a man. Um
So here,
so
here's the thing. Two
mhm.
things. One that we've talked about that I think we Christians who are uh not like we don't be out like we don't go out to the clubs, and if you don't drink or do all those things, there's there's a situational thing where the places that you go are very small. So a thing that I've talked to you about is finding those places of being out, because a lot of the engagement that happens, especially I think from the Christian women I know, that it's literally like you go to work and you go to church and you have like one other hobby. You know, you might go to the library or you might go wherever.
Are you talking about me specifically, or are you talking to the world in general?
Talking to the world in general, but talking from my
Okay.
experience with you. Uh,
Okay.
it
I
the,
don't go out. And see, that's another thing. Like, I don't, because COVID is over. Y'all didn't know that. So, COVID is over. So, the world is open now. So, I do have options of places to go and people to see. But I have so much self work to do. I understand you're trying to be encouraging. I'm not saying this to you as like a way to be like, don't give up, sis. There's love out there. I believe there's love out there, but I personally have so much stuff that needs to be worked out before I ever think about
No,
being
yeah,
with
yeah.
somebody
I'm
else.
not, and I'm not saying it to chastise. I'm just saying that in the presentation, you also have to present the fact that it's like you have to be in the places, not the places that they say you have to go, but in places or wherever that God would have you to be. So whether it's walking in purpose, doing this podcast, or doing other things that puts who you are, what you are, how you gonna be full frontal on the table. If it's the event company, if it's working and trying, stepping outside of your comfort zone to go and do different things that are still within a safe zone, not like again, whatever. I think that therein lies the patience and where God would like have you. That's spiritually what I feel, not just a, oh, I think my sister needs to get out. I think you not doing whatever. I just think that spiritually, like God is saying, like if you're doing those things, like yeah, I can honor you with something. It's just I don't want this person to derail you from what I asked you to do. And there's a lot of um there's a lot of men who will use that and act like you don't have a purpose that is bigger and outside of them. There are a lot of dudes who are intimidated by the fact that you have purpose, um, and that you decide to follow it unapologetically, no matter what, and who are still trying to figure themselves out and want you to be along with them on the ride. And it's like there's a difference between us knowing who we are foundationally and working together in a marriage or a relationship, and you just trying to get me to work on myself and build you up at the same time and be uh accepting of the fact that you're not even trying to build a firm foundation on anything. You just want to go through the rigmarole of basically, living homeless in terms of your ambitions and things until I decide to firmly put you somewhere. Um,
So
so
yeah, I don't know. I was not in the mood to talk about relationships today. I mean, nothing bad happened. It's that's a really vulnerable space and place for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken me a lot of maturity to realize that I'm not ready for relationship right now. Even if it's something I desire, it would be a disaster. I'm still processing my grief. I just have a lot going on right now that I need to
Yeah.
work through. So get it. But
Mm,
that's it.
okay.
That's all I have to say about this subject. The end. Period. We don't have to talk about it again.
But for anybody out there, like I said, there's just in this general space.
Oh, I do want to say
Uh,
this.
oh, go ahead.
I, the title of the blog is Best Foot Forward. And I think that's part of my issue too. I want to put my best foot forward in anything I do. And if I know that I'm not going to really be able to commit to it, I don't want to do it. So there's that.
What I was just gonna say as encouragement is all of this is work. It's worth it work when you are allowing yourself to be led by God. Um,
Right.
it
And he's
just
leading me right now and he's telling me, sit down, girl.
um, in so many different ways, I don't think people respect what we got going on. Especially when you're Christian and say that you want to keep yourself into marriage, people make you seem like you a fool, and you're not. I fell into listening to a lot of that different stuff and trying these like feeling like I had to change myself and be a chameleon and act like the world to be in these
Now, let me
spaces.
be clear and crystal clear.
Mm.
I have not waited for marriage. And that is definitely a struggle of mine. I don't know that I have the willpower in me to wait till I get married as well. So that's another thing. But you continue with your story. You tell your
Uh,
testimony. I don't want nobody to be like, and that's a lie.
no,
she
no,
knows.
no, no, no. I'm more so saying that it can be difficult, and honestly, I think that if the environments in churches and other places were more open to talking about the fact that you're going to have desires, or more open to talking about what the reward is and how it is still work, because we got to put in work for everything else.
Right. But okay, this is not the point of the podcast,
Right.
but how many people have actually waited though? You know anybody?
Mm, and been in a relationship.
Like any waited till marriage? Yeah, like with their spouse.
I know of people. I mean,
You know them personally,
they're
not
of a,
just like a myth.
yes, they're of a napkin variety, but yes, I know them.
I only know one person. So I know it can be done. That just hasn't been my testimony. I would
Um,
love to talk to somebody that was able to wait till marriage. And I mean like for real wait, not like we're gonna do everything else.
but that's what I'm saying is like,
Yeah.
but the reason we do everything else is because you get the pressure of feeling like, if okay, so if I get married, Lord, and I ain't did nothing, are you gonna bless me with being the most amazing person in bed? Because that's what they say it's all about. They say it's built in this, and there's no way that you even don't want to or understanding temptation or understanding a physical attraction and all of this other stuff. There just have to be more safe spaces. I'm telling y'all there are more safe spaces. I'm saying like, nah, I didn't make it. Like I made it way longer than what was intended in by my degree. Like, because if we're going by what she was saying earlier, which is I'm gonna do everything else, but nah, I didn't make it very long at all. Like I'm not a runner. I'm a track star in that regard. Like I would have, I beat my sister in that race if that's what we're going by. But that ain't what I'm going by. So anyway, I'm just saying, be encouraged. There are more spaces. We're one of those spaces. Like I said, it can be done. You can do it. There are people who are praying for you. It means something, even if it don't mean nothing. It don't have to mean nothing to the world. It's gonna mean something to God, and that's way more important. So Trust me, keep going. You got it. I know y'all exist. You didn't do nothing wrong. Keep working. So if y'all want to hit us up on Twitter at Bible Study Girl, the number 2. Hit us up on Instagram at _ Bible Study Girl. Hit us up on Facebook, Bible Study Girl. Make sure you like the page. You can send us messages. You can send us messages there, but you can also send us messages at Bible Study Girl 2019 at gmail.com. Send us prayer requests to either of those locations, to where we'll make sure that we are praying for you and keeping you in our prayers. We do everything with the God-centered forward. We tell you these stories so that way you can understand that this walk ain't easy and this walk don't look the same, and it's not supposed to. That's okay.
And that's okay. Also, you can head over to YouTube and go ahead and subscribe to our Bible Study Girl page. We're going to start creating community over there. So you guys can be on the lookout for that, and you'll be in the first to get notified when we go live.
Yeah. And until the next time, I almost ended you how I end my stuff. Remember, it ain't, it's not the online dating sites that preach. Most definitely not them. It's not even our mistakes and our failures that preach, but we preach.
And until we meet again, guys, keep preaching.